Hello, my name is Mark Hoeksma, Program Developer with Edukans, and I'm pleased to present our program, Teaching with Impact. I'm sure that amongst those of you watching this presentation, some of you are teachers, and I would like to stress that your profession and your commitment is so extremely important for children and society. For children, you're the first role models that young people encounter outside of their home and the adults with whom they will interact the most. For society, you're the most crucial profession. Yours is the profession upon which all other professions depend. And teacher effectiveness is by far the most important thing that matters in school. And research has shown this time and time again. Also in this research in 2019 of the World Bank, with the telling title, Successful Teachers, Successful Students, it shows that the difference in outcomes for pupils taught by ineffective teachers and effective teachers is huge. So basically this underlines the importance of our focus, which is that at Edukans we offer continuous support in the form of high quality in-service training for teachers to develop professionally. We share this common ground with many others and with you, I'm sure, of SDG 4, and that is that by 2030 every child will have access to inclusive quality education. And we believe at Edukans that education is the key for development. Building a better future starts with education as a foundation, and education is a fundamental human right, and also a bridge, an indispensable bridge to all other human rights. And we are not in this alone, of course. Being successful in our mission also depends how we work together in assuring that all learners acquire knowledge and skills to promote sustainable development. At Edukans, we can equip teachers with skills to make impact in terms of learning and results and better outcomes for their students. Also, we can build resilience. We can help our teachers to build resilience and confidence with learners to develop knowledge. We echo this great UNESCO slogan in that sustainability starts with the teachers. Now we have a real challenge together, and that is to tackle the learning crisis. And the learning crisis is huge. And basically, it means that so many children go to school, but so little is learned at school. So teachers go to school, but they're not learning. Less than 7% of children who finish school can read well. And it has a huge implication for development, because if education does not function as a catalyst for development, it will not function as a catalyst for development if students are not learning. So going to school is not enough. They need to learn. Otherwise, societies won't develop in the way they should. And the inequalities within societies, it's also very severe, because children that are already disadvantaged will learn the least, which increases the inequalities. We really need to tackle this learning crisis. Now, I'd just like to talk a bit about our solution, which is a combination of very powerful teacher training using a powerful learning resource, which is an erasable notebook called the Correct Book, as a tool to really engage learners in powerful learning. And Teaching with Impact is basically a professional teacher training paired with this innovative learning resource, and it's also provided by Sustainable Book Chain. So Edukans works together with Blue Tree Group, who is responsible for setting up this sustainable book chain on a local level, and also with Correct Book, which produces these erasable notebooks, also on a local level. And the three of us work together in producing and carrying out innovative, locally produced learning resources, enabling endless practice in the classroom. This is really important, because this practice in the classroom is that what is lacking to make real learning happen. And this is where we come in organizing very powerful, for example, numeracy and literacy supporting activities, making the best use of these materials and supported by very powerful training. Now we need to look at how learning works. And it's important to know that learning, of course, happens within the learners themselves. So somehow the learner, the student, the pupil, the child needs mental processing. And this is reinforced by practice in the classroom. And practice can be lots of different things. So it could involve activities such as reading, writing, drawing, calculating, and so on and so on, in a safe and inclusive environment, because that needs to be in place, of course. Now, how well and how much learners learn, it really depends on the time of learning. There needs to be a lot of time for practice and the quality of this practice. So the practice needs to be well prepared, it needs to be well targeted, and especially with foundational skills such as writing, reading, mathematics, it requires a process of automation. An automation that you automatically know that, okay, 2 by 2 is 4. You don't need to think about that. That requires endless practicing. The same with handwriting, or to transfer sound to written text. It requires a lot of practice, because this practice is needed to make these automatic connections. Well-trained teachers can make this happen with the help of Correctbook. So this is a strong point, really. If we look at how we organize this at school level, you'll see that the first step will be assessment through school visits, classroom observation, also using video film and using very well developed observation tools. There's teacher training. We also use the films made in the assessment in the teacher training and the distribution, of course, of learning resources. This will lay a basis to strengthen the teaching and learning processes, and we follow up and support this process. So this is just basically in a nutshell how we work at Edukans and Correctbook and Blue Tree Group. Now, we deliver various resources for teachers to work with. There's an exercise book with all sorts of exercises, actually, but very well geared to help students to learn to write, and also in other subjects. There are teacher training manuals that can be used for teacher training, for teachers to really know how to use these Correctbooks. And we have a resource book with lots of background. So there's quite a lot of supporting material, which is delivered in the teacher training, and in the training, teachers actually learn to use this to a good level. There's also digital courseware. So we have developed these materials really in order to make this powerful learning happen and to strengthen the quality of the trainings. Now, in the short term, when teaching with impact is applied in school, we expect to see that in all subjects, teachers use the erasable notebook, the Correctbook, to engage learners to practice. There'll be a variation in types of exercises reaching all learners. And learners will spend more time actively working on tasks. So instead of passively listening and trying to absorb information, they will be practicing, they will be making exercises, they will be correcting themselves, etc. In the longer term, we really expect significant increase of teaching quality. So teachers will really learn how to teach in this more learner-centered way, and to all the time engage their students, their learners, in practice. This should lead to average learning outcomes which are improved, and a higher achievement in language and maths as part of that. If you look at what we will deliver if we work together, then what you could expect is a different training trajectories, training of trainers, preparing education professionals to train teachers in this way, and also actual teacher training with all resources for in-service training. And there'll also be supply chain for Correctbooks and pens. Of course, at the longer term, we expect schools where this is practiced to eventually to improve their results. And we're also measuring this. So we're measuring school exam results. We're measuring results on specific subjects such as language and maths. And we're also looking closely at the teachers if they're actually managing how to teach in this new way and really use the Correctbook in an effective way by classroom observation of teaching and learning. Now at Edukans, we have quite a good track record when it comes to teacher training. With learner-centered teacher training, we started these projects in 2008 and have been working in 9 different countries and different parts of the world, but many countries in Africa, in fact. We find that our practical trainings have been very effective in various ways on different levels. The teachers gain more practical teaching skills. which are aligned with policies in countries, for example, to promote learner-centered active learning skills. Teachers actually learn how to bring this into practice. This leads to improved student performance, and learners who are confronted or who are actually in classrooms of our trained teachers, they increase their self-confidence, in fact, and motivation is also increased among teachers and learners. And because we work large scale together with ministries of education and together with teacher training institutes, this is how we create large scale impact. So these are just some points just to summarize where we go for impact. And where we achieve impact is in learning outcomes, also in fewer dropouts, lower staff turnover, improved numeracy and literacy skills, the provision of sustainable materials for children for lifelong learning, alignment with educational reforms and government conditions, and more students continuing their education, so transiting to secondary and tertiary education. Our goal is to reach 5 million children who will be able to create opportunities for themselves and their families. And in this, we really want to work together. And the question is, will you join us to roll this out? In the Netherlands, we have already the National Postcode Lottery who has embraced our approach. And we really need to join forces and work together. So if you're interested, we're very, very ready and happy to work together with you. Well, that's it for me for now. Thank you very much for your attention.